Buenas tardes, bienvenidos. Today we're going to learn about the verbs tener and venir in Spanish. Tener means to have, venir means to come, and the reason these two verbs are grouped together is not because of their similarity in meaning. It's because they're conjugated similarly. Venir is an IR verb, tener is an ER verb. Both of these verbs break the rules for conjugation in Spanish, and that's why we're covering them separately. Venir means to come, and the yo form is vengo, I come. Tú vienes. Nosotros venimos. Él viene, ella viene, usted viene. Ellos vienen, ustedes vienen, ellas vienen. You'll notice that the yo form is irregular. The spelling changes. The tú form has a spelling change because it's venir, but the E changes to IE. Venimos is the normal conjugation. Viene also has a spelling change. Vienen also has a spelling change. And then in the yo form we have the GO on the end. With tener, it's spelled similarly. Yo tengo, tú tienes, nosotros tenemos, usted tiene, él tiene, ella tiene, ustedes tienen, ellos tienen, ellas tienen. The spelling changes are the same as venir. In fact, the only differences are in two areas. Of course, the first letter, tener starts with a T, venir starts with a V, so all of these start with T, all of these start with V. And then in the nosotros form, tener is an ER verb, so we have tenemos. And venir, because it's an IR verb, venimos. So they're spelled very similarly, and that's why they're grouped together. Now with tener in Spanish has some variations in meaning. It's also used to express the idea of to have to do something and some other concepts that we need to talk about. In Spanish, there are a lot of concepts that are considered to be nouns. It's not something that is part of your identity, but it's something that you would own, okay? And so tener would mean having that noun or that quantity. So tener razón would be to have reason. It really means to be right. To be right. Tener razón. If you're not right, it would be no tener razón. That would be not be right. And what we would do if I want to say I'm right, I would say yo tengo razón. That means I'm right. But the idea, the concept behind it is that I have rightness, okay? And then so on, we would conjugate tener according to whoever was right. If you are right, you would formally be tú tienes razón, ella tiene razón, and so on. Or if you're not right, if I said I'm not right, yo no tengo razón. Okay. Now, the reason these other words are up here is because where I have underlined razón, all of these other concepts here and here are also things that you would have rather than be. So in English we would be right, but in Spanish we have to have rightness. In English we would be cold, but in Spanish we have to have cold. They think it's silly when they learn English that you could actually be cold, because they think of it as, gosh, how could you be cold? You can't. That can't be part of your identity. You have to have coldness. So you have to have cold, tener frío. You have to have fear, tener miedo. have sleepiness, tener sueño, have heat, tener calor, and have care, tener cuidado. So tener cuidado would be our equivalent of to be careful. So all of these you would substitute if you wanted to say, I am cold. Yo tengo frío. It doesn't literally mean I am cold, it means I have cold. Okay? And all of these others could fit in there as well. Yo tengo miedo. I am afraid. Yo tengo sueño. I am sleepy. Yo tengo calor. I am hot. Yo tengo cuidado. I am being careful. Now all of these right here are masculine, so if I wanted to, I am very cold, I would have to have a lot of coldness. I would have to say, yo tengo mucho. Yo tengo mucho frío. And notice that frío is masculine, mucho is masculine. Now over here I have some feminine, I guess, aspects or qualities we would consider to be qualities that they consider to be nouns. And these would have to be mucha, okay? And that's why I grouped them over here. But also in Spanish, you can't be hungry. You have to have hunger. Hambre, tengo hambre. You have to have hurriedness. You can't be in a hurry. Tengo prisa. You can't be thirsty. You have to have thirst. Tengo sed. You can't be lucky. Wouldn't that be nice if we could just be lucky? That was our identity. But you have to have luck. Tener suerte. And you also can't be an age. You have to have years. You have to have an age. You have to have years. So, tener años. So if I wanted to say, I'm very thirsty, yo tengo mucha sed, because sed is feminine. La sed. Yo tengo mucha sed. The mucha has to agree in gender with the noun, it's considered a noun. With the noun, it's modifying. Now, when we're talking about age, we're talking about years. So you have to have a certain number of years, so the structure is slightly different. So if I were 18 years old, it would be yo tengo 18 años. Yo tengo 18 años. And if we wanted to ask somebody how old they are, ¿cuántos años tienes? How many years do you have? And the answer would be, yo tengo 18 años. Okay? If you want to ask somebody if they're thirsty, you can't ask them if they are thirsty. You have to ask them if they have thirst. So you would ask, ¿tienes sed? Do you have thirst? ¿Tienes sed? And then the answer might be, sí, tengo mucha sed. Okay? So this is how we conjugate tener and venir in Spanish. And these are some of the unique ways of thinking about having qualities and where tener is used. Now, another thing that we can talk about in Spanish is to want to do something with tener. Tener ganas de means I want to do something. This blank is here because we would put a verb here. I want to sleep. Tener ganas de dormir. I want to eat. Tener ganas de comer. Okay? We would not conjugate the verb in this blank. Tener is conjugated. I have a desire. Tener ganas de comer. I have. So it would be yo tengo ganas de comer. Tengo ganas de comer. I have a desire to eat. Tener que means to have to do something, to be obligated to do it. And we use to have also in English that way. So if I have to eat, okay, it would be tengo que comer. Tengo que means to have to. And then this verb is not conjugated. I have to, and to eat. But the to is built in, so we don't need to add any other words in here. Tengo que comer. And then to ask the question, ¿tienes que comer? Sí, tengo que comer. ¿Tienes ganas de comer? Sí, tengo ganas de comer. Okay, so tener is used with all of these expressions, and these are the conjugations of tener and venir.